I'm Laura Pitcher, New Zealand journalist and environmentalist. Growing up in New Zealand, I'm really passionate about protecting our natural resources.
Wow. Yeah.
Because of extensive dairy farming, urbanisation and deforestation, they're currently under threat. Now, one of our most amazing natural resources is the Wanganui River, and I'm super excited because it's my first time going to visit it today.
Or I'm about to have a turn myself.
This river is a very special river because on the 16th of March this year, it became the first river in the world to gain legal personhood. This means that in court it can be represented by its iwi, which is what they've been fighting for over 100 years.
Yeah, you asked if you could trust me.
Yes.
In Wanganui, they have a saying that goes, "I am the river and the river is me." I'm going to go check out who this river is by talking to its people.
To start my journey, I'm in Wellington, which is where I live, and I'm on my way to Parliament to talk to Kelvin Davis from the Labour Party.
A river, the status of a person, in my opinion, it means, well, you're a person, you can't be assaulted, abused, that's against the law. The river shouldn't be able to be assaulted or abused.
What would you say to people who are asking questions such as, so if someone dies in the river, will the river be a murderer? Will it pay taxes?
They're deliberately trying to confuse things, and they're just idiots, really. And one thing I've learnt in politics is there's going to be the haters out there, and you just have to let their opinions wash over you.
The Wanganui River is 290 kilometres long and goes out to sea. I'm starting my journey beside the sea in the town of Wanganui, which is a 3-hour drive from Wellington.
So we've just arrived to Wanganui, and this is the river to our right.
I found Haimona's house when looking for someone to interview at Putiki Marae. He's welcomed me into his home and is going to have a chat to me about what it's like living by the riverbank.
There is a taniwha on the river, and his name is Tutai Poroporo in Maori mythology. He used to zap out and grab any unwary person on a canoe, got him up. But anyhow, they tricked him and got rid of him in the end. Or ko au te awa, ko te awa ko au. I'm the river and the river is me. So it's a living entity, and one must protect it.
What does the river mean to you, personally?
Well, you know, it's the source of life. It provides life.
And now it is life.
It is life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're recognising that, so
Exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to speak to law student and Wanganui iwi member Te Wānuiarua.
How did you react when you heard the news about its personhood?
To be honest, I didn't, because I was like in the early process of it, and I didn't think it was going to happen. Because I just thought we've been fighting it for like over 100 years, you know, and I just thought like, and then when it happened, I was just so emotional. I just thought about so many of my people who like fought for this to happen. I just felt like a sense of serenity, you know, just like, yeah, I can like go tomorrow because I'm happy that our people got out what we wanted eventually. I should at least like explain my name because my name's actually the ancient name for the Wanganui River.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like naturally I was just born to be a part of the river. Like every time I'm by the river they're like, oh, e te Wainui, and I'm like, oh my god, please stop it. Growing up, just having my name, to be honest, was just like, just the river flowing right through me. Like I miss my river heaps, you know. I see my river and I'm just crying, like because I miss them. Like I don't know, it's not a her or a him, so I just miss my awa, and it hurts, you know, sometimes when like things happen. And I hurt too because, you know, when like pollution happens and like things go in our people feel it, you know, and people don't understand why, but it's just because we're so connected.
Do you think the personhood of the river is now in like an acknowledgement of that connection?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always been acknowledged in our iwi, but it's from the Crown now. We can hold them to their word because it's in law now. Like they can't do those things like the Treaty of Waitangi is not going to happen again because everybody knows about it in the whole world, you know. Like they can't rip us off again. You ask everybody from an awa and then you'd be like, oh, what means most to you? And then like from your iwi, and they'll say the river. They won't say their family because they think that the river is family, you know, and they think that their families are part of the river, so that's why they love it.
We just met this really nice guy called Araki near the marae, and he said that he's going to the beach, which is the start of the river, so we're going to go meet him there for some food.
Hello, how do you get up? I wish I could say that was easy, but it really wasn't.
Alright. Alright, now have a look. Worth it?
Wow. Yeah.
I know pretty much every view there is.
How does this one rate?
Probably one of the best.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, probably the best, yeah. We have a saying, I am the river is me. And living by the river, I've seen, I guess you almost have a relationship with it because I've seen its destruction when it flooded our place in 2015. Then you just get days like this when you're just in awe of it, eh? Something to be proud of in Wanganui. It's a lot of pride, you know.
Or do they think they respect it more now after the bill?
I don't know.
To actually make a change, like a meaningful change, has been hard because there's always battles on who owns it and who truly represents it. And I think it hasn't necessarily meant that we care more about the river. It just means like we can actually take actionable change.
There will be one representative from the iwi and one from the Crown who will represent the river in Parliament. I can't help but think what immense pressure this will be for those two people to represent a river who's loved by so many hearts. Even though I'm what Wanganui locals call a city girl, Araki and Andrew let me go to the beach with them, where locals do drifts and car race.
My car got stuck on the sand and I had to get rescued by some locals. While I was a bit gutted that I couldn't join in on the fun, I knew I had another big day of interviews tomorrow, so I decided to call it a night.
This morning I'm meeting with Esther, who's a volunteer at Forest and Bird. She's taking me to the spot where her and her friends like to go kayaking and has promised me a trip on the water.
The water is not clean and it mostly comes from the Ohara River because I checked it out online the other day. Before it was swimmable, so if you lower the standards, obviously you're ignoring all the issues that go with clean water.
Yeah.
They have a saying, ko au te awa, ko te awa ko au. It means I am the river and the river is me. See that as a life force. It has an identity of its own, and that has recently been approved by the government.
Out on the river quite often?
Every day.
Every day?
Wasn't born here in the river, but I'm born to be here. And it's simple as that.
Or I'm about to have a turn myself.
Are you a kayaker by nature?
I wouldn't say by nature, but I have kayaked before.
Even though Esther's told me that the Wanganui River is polluted, it's easy to forget that when you're on the water, and even easier to understand why someone might come out here every day. After drying off, I'm in the centre of Wanganui town, with a small population of just over 40,000. I'm here to talk to the mayor, Hamish McDowell, on what the personhood of the river has meant for this small town.
Why do you think that the Wanganui River was the first one to have this kind of treatment as opposed to other rivers across New Zealand?
Well, it's a funny place, the river. You know, you drive up the River Road, and I've never come back from a meeting up the road or an event without feeling slightly changed. It's a very moving, spiritual place. It really seems to be the heart of the city. Myth, the history, the connection of the locals to the river really enabled it to be groundbreaking. And you look at the other rivers in the country and maybe some of that connection's been broken. Wanganui's still got it.
Yeah.
And those who are going, how can a river be a living entity? Well, I ask you, how can a joint stock company be a legal person? How can a family trust really exist? And this, I think, is no...
if anything, it makes more sense.
Indeed.
After my second day with the river, I found that everywhere I look, I find people with an immense sense of pride. I've been making my way up River Road, which is the same road that Hamish said he never comes back not changed from, and I can't help but feel the same feeling.
So I just came across an article online this morning by John Sargent. He's an anti-abortionist, so when he heard news of the Wanganui River's personhood,
he wrote quite a controversial article about how unborn fetuses should be given the same rights. So I've given him a call and he's going to talk to us today. We're here because obviously you've written an article about the Wanganui River's new personhood. You could just explain to us kind of a bit of the background about why you wrote that article?
Well, it seemed ironic that the river should be accorded to the rights and responsibilities of a human being when those same rights aren't accorded to, say, an unborn baby.
If they were given the same rights, would you mind so much about the river being personhood?
It would go some way to I guess, to bridge the gap. If a river can be a person, can a person be a river? Does it go the other way around? I think it's more of a poor attempt at a social construct between the organic Maori way of thinking and the legislative approach. It's a halfway between the two that doesn't work at all.
For Maori people, how you said people are the most important, what would you say to someone that says, you know, they are the river and the river is them?
That can't be true. People have affinity to the local environment, and that's perfectly understandable. That's common all around the world.
Most of the media coverage of the Wanganui River's personhood has been celebrating it, saying it's amazing, it's a world first.
The Wanganui River in New Zealand will be granted its own legal identity as an individual.
Well, it's not difficult to argue that it's a world first because it's a bad idea and hasn't been done before.
It's 2 hours away from Wanganui, and I found a completely different viewpoint than that of the Wanganui people. I'm making my way back to the river now to see the parts of the river that I didn't get to see yesterday.
So we're now at the beginning of Wanganui National Park, but this is where we actually have to turn our cameras off because you can't film here without special permission. Because Wanganui National Park is home to many tapu or sacred sites, there is immense privacy around the filming of the park. In order to get a filming concession, you have to go through the Department of Conservation, who then speaks to the multiple iwi members in a series of meetings that takes a few months. From there are only very few filming concessions granted. I'm back in filming zone now, and I'm here to speak to another John called John Mahi. As a prominent Māori activist, John Mahi has dedicated much of his life to fighting for issues such as river quality and Māori land rights.
I was thinking when you rang me, should I tell her things or, well, no, why don't I?
Yeah, you asked if you could trust me.
Yes.
Yeah, but I understand why, because of the long history with the media and the crowd.
The river will continue to do what it does. Because it's not only a taonga that was given from God, it is a God. And it'll decide whatever it wants to do. The legal entity is to actually see what the hell human beings are doing to the river. Crown has been too tricky too long for Māori. They've tricked us in every goddamn thing that they can do. And they tell us that a 1% return on the trickery is quite a good gain for us. They're quite happy to sit in their parliament seats and then confuse us to bits and then say, well, we gave them an opportunity but they failed. This is where we're sitting now, is where the occupations took place. So we had thousands of people here, and then in the end we came out with the mechanism to obtain the river. What we had to do was to get a full change of mind, a head shift, away from the 100% ownership to ownership for all. Violence is not going to get us anywhere. Because some of us were looking at going to see, what's that fella, Gaddafi, to see if he'll help us to put an army together.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Was this before?
Oh, long before this thing. But our elders said, no, we have a treaty, and we should use that treaty to the max. That's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a huge challenge. But I believe a lot of more people of us are smiling more now than we were before.
Coming to the end of my journey now, I've seen all parts of the river, and I've met a few of its people, and as the saying goes, I'm the river and the river is me. So if the Wanganui River is its people, then it's smart, and it's brave, and it's welcoming, and it's definitely bold.
Ko te awa, ko te awa, ko au. I am the river, and the river is me.